I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about you're reading too much into it. So, during a breakup, what do we all tend to do? Scrutinize every little aspect of the breakup and the situation. We role play all the different scenarios in our mind. We fantasize about how we would reunite with them, what it's going to take to get them back. And we start to think about our relationship, and we literally scrutinize every tiny little thing from our own perspective. Very, very tricky thing, because remember, or if you didn't think about this before, your mind records things, but not like a video camera does, because it takes into account your feelings and your beliefs and your thoughts, and you remember something, but then what happens over time is the memory changes. If you had anxiety with that memory, it could fog the memory up, and you start to only remember how you felt, and all kinds of things can affect the memory, because it's not just like recording with a video camera and just watching it. It gets in here, you have all kinds of things that are affecting how you replayed it. But what do? We scrutinize every little factor, every tiny little detail. In fact, well, I'll get into this a little bit later, but I know that you're all doing it because I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to go through that, and I know that you're all looking at those tiny little pieces to try and put the things together to figure it out. I got 2 emails today. The first one is from Claudia. It's a fun name to say, isn't it? Claudia. 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 Well, she said, "Hi Craig, I wanted to let you know that I'm a huge #1 fan. I watch your videos every day. I absolutely think you are the most amazing man in the world, and I wish I could meet a man like you." Well, I don't know, I've put on a couple of pounds since Christmas time. I haven't been able to shake them, so you might see that and run the other way. Claudia. I gotta get out there and run. I gotta get some exercise, but you guys are keeping me too busy. Ridiculous. Alright. She said, "Let me know if you come to Europe. Dinner is on me. P.S. Leave your girlfriend at home." Well, Claudia, I thank you for the invitation. That is quite kind of you. She has a real question that goes along with this too. She said, "My boyfriend broke up with me 3 months ago. I cannot stop thinking about him and the breakup. I pay very close attention to everything. I even obsess when he goes on and off Facebook." Yes. Excuse me, I'm still fighting my cold. Even something as small as watching when your ex logs on and off of Facebook become incredibly addictive. And I know a lot of you guys are literally just sitting there obsessing about it. Oh, they came on. They must be off of work right now. Or, oh, she's been on for a long time. She can't be on a date with that guy. She's been on Facebook all night. I know a lot of you guys are doing stuff like that. Don't think about that I don't really bring these things up in videos. Doesn't mean I don't know that aspect of it also. That's something that I look at the details when we're doing a Skype together, and we could talk about stuff like that. But I know that you guys all obsess over those little details. And, you know, if you think about it, you know, why do we do this? I think that's what she was wanting to know here is, why do we do this? Well, I think we're scrutinizing and looking for any sign of abandonment. Any tiny little thing that could mean they're gone for good. And this could be both a real and imagined. Okay? It's how we perceive it. If we perceive abandonment, it is just as scary as if they actually do it. Okay? In our unconscious mind, it's just as bad. One isn't worse than the other. Well, in the long term, the other would be worse, the actual abandonment. But when it happens, it's a perception, real or imagined, of how or if they abandon us. Okay? The other thing we're looking for is a reunion. Are they coming back to me? We look at and obsess over these little things to try and figure out if they want us back. Any tiny little detail that might mean, oh, there's finally some hope that they're going to come back to me. Oh, God, thank you. Right? I know that's what a lot of you guys are looking for. For example, maybe you see a message or meme on Instagram or Facebook, and it's ambiguous, and you don't know who it's about. You're like, was that about me? Was that about our breakup? I don't know. It's one puppy saying, I sure wish he would come home. Is she the puppy? Is she the puppy? She must be the puppy, and she's wishing that I would come home. I should reach out. I know you guys are doing a lot of things like that. You got to be careful. You got to be very careful in these situations, because you're projecting often that it's your fantasy coming true. So be very aware of that, okay? And that is something that I can look at with you objectively, especially when we're doing a Skype together and you're telling me these little details. I'm going to be able to say, look, because I'm honest, I'll tell you, and I go with my gut. Do I think it's about you, or do I think it's your fantasizing? Okay, because it could be one or the other. And I know you guys are spending hours every day literally obsessed on those tiny little details. I do understand it. So, I have a second email here from a 25-year-old guy. I have a second email here from a 25-year-old guy who was interested in a girl who he had known for several years, but never dated her. Okay? So he says, I've known this girl for about 3 years when we started working together. She quit work 2 years ago, but we have stayed in touch and remained close friends. We are not best friends, but she always cared about me on a personal level. At times, we have gone several months without talking while she was in her relationship. She was in a 3-year-long relationship and was engaged until about 6 months ago, until they broke up. She's been single since then, and I didn't talk to her during that time because of life. The board game kept you apart? It's so rude. Yeah, I know you guys aren't here for the humor, right? I'm telling you, I don't make enough money to have a writing staff, so you're stuck with the terrible jokes. The entire time I've known this girl, I've never been able to get her to see me outside of work because of her relationship. Until last week. I asked her if she would like to get together and catch up, and we agreed upon a time and date where we would meet at her place and have dinner. I walked in the door and said, give me a hug, and she gave me a tight hug. She asked me a ton of questions and seemed really relaxed. Sounds like it's going pretty good so far, right? As we talk, I touch her leg, she wouldn't move away or act weird, but I also got the vibe as though she didn't view this as a date. I had mentioned a girl I used to work with, and she said, yeah, you will always comment on everything she posts. Kind of under her breath in a jealous tone. As the night progressed and we became more comfortable around each other and laughed, I noticed her legs that were, W-E-R-E, my friend, not where, okay? Were up on the coffee table. Thank you. I really just want to show you the computer and be like, it wasn't me. This time, it wasn't me. The other 83 times I messed up was me, but this one wasn't. Alright. They were up on the coffee table, would move closer to mine. The entire time I was there, she made direct eye contact and was pretty engaged and willing to create conversation. Well, that sounds like a home run right there. She engaged in conversation? At her own house? Whew. She must be in love. Of course she's going to engage in conversation with you. She invited you over to her house for dinner? Come on, what is she going to do? You might be jumping the gun. Let's find out. As the night ended, I got up and began to make my exit, and she got up and gave me another giant hug without asking me this time, and she wanted me to text her when I got home to be sure I was safe, which I did, and she said goodnight. I would always advise you to go for the kiss on a date, okay? How is she supposed to know if you're interested in her romantically if you don't at least go for the kiss? Doesn't mean she's going to be ready. Some girls don't want to kiss on the first date. She hasn't spent a lot of time with you in a long time. She might not want to kiss you. But as long as you're letting her know that you're interested, she's going to appreciate it, because then she can make a decision either way. 4 days later, I text her to set up another time to get together and get no response. That's not good. Exactly 2 days later, I check her Facebook and she is in a relationship with her best friend's little brother. She's been friends with her roommate's brother for 5 years. Everyone that was posting comments on the relationship seemed really confused, and even her best friend seemed confused and shocked. Well, what was shocking to you, and maybe even other people in her life, you have to imagine that for her, she was obviously talking to this guy for some time, right? And I think you have spent a lot of times looking at the little details here, but you really didn't know what was going on in her life, because this is like the first time you've hung out with her in a long time. Obviously, she was talking to this other guy. I highly doubt she was talking to him for 4 days and they jumped into a relationship. Okay? You just didn't know it, because you didn't know what was going on in her life. Okay. So, he said in that moment, see, your anxiety took off. In that moment, well, I saw that. In that moment, I lost it. I'm willing to bet that's exactly what happened. In that moment, I texted her, if it doesn't work out with him, get a hold of me. I'd love to see you. Have a beautiful life. Beautiful life? After one time hanging out? You don't think you're jumping the gun just a little bit? Have a beautiful life? Let's have a beautiful life together. What was your middle name? What was your first name, actually? I just didn't want to be rude. How do you know... Dude, how are you going to say something like, have a beautiful life? I'd like to see you and have a beautiful life. You don't know this girl. I mean, you're friends with her, but you haven't seen her in years. Later that night, she replied, what? We can't be friends because I'm with him? LOL? Yeah, I'm sure she was shocked by that, because you just hung out with her one time, and you're assuming she's going to get into a relationship with you and have a beautiful life with her new, complete stranger. Doesn't that sound lovely? You guys got to be careful of the fantasy. Think about it. You are fantasizing and projecting all of your unmet needs onto a stranger. That's what happens when you jump into relationships with people you don't know. Think about it. This morning I woke up I got on Facebook and saw the news. Oh, the big news. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I cried for weeks. I made that part up. It was the exact moment that I realized, that exact moment. You see the drama behind this? It was that exact moment that I realized. I wish I could be a better actor. I could do like, maybe I should have like some Shakespearean actors come in here and read some of these things for you guys. It was that exact moment that I realized I could not be just friends with you. I got out of bed, hopped up in the shower, and then sat down and realized I can't do this. You're such a effing unbelievable, hardworking, smart, and beautiful girl. Mind you, this is still all one text. If 2 months down the road it doesn't work out with him and I'm not seeing or getting serious with anyone, I'd effing love to see you again and get to know you again and see what happens, but I just can't be friends anymore. It would kill me. Are you guys still awake? Because the message is still going on. This is still the first text message. 2 days later, she hasn't replied to me. I can't imagine why. Dude, you came on so strong. So strong. Think about it. Think about that if you hung out with some girl that you hadn't seen for years, and then you didn't know what it was. You're just hanging out with her, having a good time, but you'd been talking to some other girl for maybe a couple months. You got in a relationship, and then she sends you this long drama text that is like so over the top that it's just too much. And then you wonder why she doesn't text back. Love is supposed to be playful and fun. This is not playful and fun. This is, please, mommy, take care of me. Think about it. Alright, let me move on here. And he's still obsessed over the little details. Okay? He says, 2 days later, she hasn't replied. No surprise. And she hasn't deleted me from any social media. And she has a history of doing that to people. See the obsessing over the things? This is what I'm talking about. You're obsessing over a tiny little detail, such as, well, she hasn't deleted me from social media, even though that she's done that to other people. But you're ignoring the giant piece of information that's saying, I'm in a relationship with somebody else and I like them and not you. I know it sucks, but dude, you only went on one date with her. I know you've been wanting to see this girl and take her out for a long time, but you're coming on so strong. I mean, you didn't know what was going on in her life. And you're acting as if you guys had been dating for years, and, you know, this whole giant text about, oh, I'd effing love to see you again and get to know you again and see what happens. I can't be friends anymore. It would kill me. You said it would kill me. Do you realize that? You said this. You said it would kill me. That is an attachment trauma. Okay? Think about it. This has nothing to do with her. Nothing. This is a fantasy. This has to do with you and the unmet needs of your childhood. And you feel like dying because it feels like you're separated from your caregivers. The attachment trauma that you had, obviously, in your childhood. But think about how upset and hurt and angry you come across, and just downright dramatic over hanging out with her for one time. And then he says, can you make any sense of this? Well, I'm assuming you mean that she hasn't deleted you from social media. Well, you know, it's seems to me like she liked you as a human being. And she genuinely liked you as a person. She may have not had any idea or inkling that you were interested in her romantically. I mean, unless you let her know that, then how would she know? You know, and it was only one time hanging out with you. So, I mean, I think you're obsessing over little things that really just don't matter. I mean, the big picture is that she's dating somebody else, and you know, you can obsess that she hasn't deleted you on social media, but it's not going to change anything. Is this a rebound relationship she's in? Do you think I'll ever hear from her eventually? I'm 3 days into no contact right now. Man, you are really making this into a huge thing. Okay? Is this a rebound relationship right now? How could I know that? Based on the information you've given me, there's no way for me to know. Because who knows how long she's talked to this guy for. She may be talking to this guy and friends with him. I think you said she known him for years. So maybe their relationship has slowly escalated over the years. And yeah, so there's no way to know if it's a rebound relationship. Do I think you'll hear from her eventually? It's possible. You know, you worked together for a while, but you definitely came on really strong. And, you know, I know you're going to kind of ignore that, but you came on really strong. You said you're 3 days into no contact right now. Well, I mean, come on, dude. You're 3 days into no contact. You only hung out with her once. One time. Think about it. You guys didn't hook up. She didn't, like, promise her love to you and then all of a sudden just abandon you. You just hung out one time and had some dinner together. I know it sucks, but it's disproportionate. Your grief and your sadness and your feelings are disproportionate to what actually happened here. You hung out with a girl one time. She got into a relationship with somebody else a couple days later. Yes, it sucks. It does. It would be disappointing. But would I feel like I'm dying inside? Should you feel like you're dying inside? No, of course not. That tells me that you have a lot of unmet needs and you projected them onto this woman that you really don't even know. Okay? So, there's a little bit more here. He says, from what I can tell, the new guy hasn't had a relationship last more than 3 or 4 months, and he's a nice guy that's always getting his balls busted by his friends. He's also been around her more than me because his sister is her roommate. Well, they've probably been hooking up, honestly. He probably has been hanging out at the house, you know, when they're all drinking or whatever, hooking up, and the sister just had no idea. So, yeah, it sucks. But, you know, you got to look at the situation as a whole. You're reading too much into little things that are really unimportant. And I know that a lot of you guys do that. I've been in your shoes. I know how hard it can be. But, you know, sometimes you have to look at the really big picture here. And in a situation like this one, where you've only hung out with her one time, you're making it into something huge and dramatic, and that's certainly not going to turn her on. Love is supposed to be playful and fun. And I can guarantee the messages that you sent her and bombarded her with were probably a lot more intense than that fun evening that you guys had together. Does that make sense? Like, it may have been this fun hanging out with you, but these messages and the drama behind them were so intense that you're in the negatives, you know? Now, because you have had a long friendship with her over the years, maybe that would change, but for now, there's nothing you can do. She's in a relationship with somebody else, right? So, if you'd like to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. If you like this video, put a like on there, and be subscribed to the channel because I do post videos Monday through Friday. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.